In a season that's been shortened by the pandemic, it has become crucial every week that these teams continue winning games as they make their playoff and conference title pushes toward the end of the year. We're into week 5 now, and the 740 Zone was out to cover all the big matchups from Friday night, and the 740 Zone starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome back to the 740 Zone. Our week 5 slate saw some very important games heading into the last couple games of the year and into the playoffs. We start off with 2 unbeaten ranked opponents as Eastern Pike took on Northwest, and reporter Ryan Kincaid was out of that game to see who got the upper hand for the SOC 1 title.
With the SOC 1 championship on the line this Friday night, the matchup between the Northwest Mohawks and the Eastern Eagles was the game of the week for the Southern Ohio Conference. The winner earning at least a share of the SOC 1 title.
Festivities for this one were underway early as Northwest honored its homecoming court before the game. And the Mohawks came out of the locker room with a chip on their shoulder, unleashing the running ability of Braden Campbell on a sluggish Eastern defense. Whether on the ground or through the air, Campbell made his presence known all night long, leading Northwest's offense in total yardage. But the Eagles have a solid passing resume. Their offense relies on success on the deep ball, beating secondaries and racking up huge yards. Winning the air battle was crucial to Eastern's chances of pulling out a road victory.
While Eastern's been known all year for having terrific passing, it just didn't work for them tonight. Too many mistakes over the air and too many turnovers from Northwest led to a dominant Mohawk victory.
Turnovers ruined numerous Eagle drives, many of them being mental mistakes at the snap. Also toward the end, the Mohawks solved the passing riddle, leading to this 100-yard pick six to seal the deal. This score halted a late-game rally and sealed the win for Northwest, who were able to take a knee and secure at least a share of the SOC 1 championship. Northwest finishes SOC play at Sims Valley, while Eastern, having picked up their first loss, returns to Beaver to host the Green Bobcats.
Northwest will look to clinch an outright berth of the title next week when they take on Sims Valley. Thanks for the good work, Ryan. Now we head over to Gallipolis, where we saw Gallia Academy take on Fairland in an offensive showdown. Reporter Brian Kerb was out at that game, and look, the scoreboard operator had a heck of a job to do that night, didn't he?
Oh yes, for sure. Anyone who's a fan of offense would have absolutely enjoyed this game. The Dragons and Blue Devils combined for 12 touchdowns and 90 points in this one. Gallia Academy wasted no time finding the end zone. On the third play of the game, James Armstrong eludes a few defenders and he breaks free. 63 yards to the house to put the Blue Devils on the board first. But Fairland actually led for most of the first half. In the second quarter, J.D. Brumfield takes the handoff to the outside and 10 yards into the end zone to make it a 23-7 Fairland lead. Gallia Academy brought it within a point, but on the final play of the half, Fairland pulls out the hook and ladder play. Steeler Leap gets the lateral and does the rest of the work himself, dodging a defender and finding the pylon as time expires. The Dragons went to the half up 30-22.
Now, Brian, Fairland led by 15 early in the third quarter and looked as if they were going to take control of this one. How did Gallia Academy respond?
Well, the Blue Devils just kept their foot on the gas pedal. Later in the third, Noah Manko finds Briar Williams, and Williams accelerates and goes 56 yards to the end zone. The two-point conversion made it a 37-30 ball game. Gallia Academy only trailed by 1 point after 3. In the fourth, James Armstrong fields the punt on a bounce, finds a bit of space on the sideline, and there he goes. 80 yards on a punt return, and the Blue Devils are back in front, 42-37. On a following drive, the snap goes over Fairland punter Gavin Hunt, and he falls on it in the end zone for a safety, 44-37 Blue Devils. Gallia Academy later added a field goal to go up 10, and the Dragons responded. Max Ward finds Gavin Hunt for 6 to make it a 47-43 ball game. Fairland has one last shot, but that pass is out of reach. Gallia Academy wins 47-43.
Yeah, huge win for the Blue Devils as they hand Fairland its first loss of the season. What was the difference in the second half for Gallia Academy?
Well, after allowing 30 first half points, the Blue Devils defense really stepped it up in the second half, allowing just 13 points. They also made the big plays late when needed. Combining the improved second half defense with a dangerous offense, Gallia Academy was a force to be reckoned with come half number 2.
They come out ready to defend their home field, and no better home field than here at Memorial Field. And just some of the adjustments we made on offense and defense, I think defensively is we've got some big key stops there. Coach Cooper, our defensive coordinator, did a great job, and we just had players make tremendous football plays when the time needed to be, and we were able to hang on with that thing right now, and that's why we're going to ring the bell.
This is a big win for Gallia Academy as they will now move into next week looking to continue that momentum push as they go toward the postseason when they take on Portsmouth in a conference game. Thanks for the good work, Brian. Now we head over to Liberty Union, where a team that went 0-10 a season ago is now 4-0 in the 2020 season thanks to a very strong senior class. Reporter Claire Geary caught up and showed how they've grown from last season to this year.
The Liberty Union Lions have made a complete 180 turn from last season to this season. In the fall of 2019, the Lions went winless against the Mid-State League. Meanwhile, this season, Liberty Union has gone undefeated against opponents such as Bexley and Grandview Heights. The double-digit losses have turned into double-digit scores that result in wins for the Lions, which Coach Shirley has accredited to hard work from the team.
And the guys bought in early, and they've been working really hard, both in the weight room and Phil studying and then out here on the field as well, which buy in, work hard, turns into a pretty good season.
The many reasons why this Lions team is successful is not only due to their explosiveness on the field and the run game, but also due to the fact that they have senior leadership on the team that follows behind in underclassmen leadership as well.
The senior leadership includes running back Casey Fleeman and defensive end Dylan Anthony, two players that have stepped up to be the face of the team.
Feels pretty good from all the negative last year. It's a lot more positive. We just try to build on it.
It's definitely a big turnaround. All the family is really shown, the brotherhood's shown. Just going out week in, week out, just playing as hard as you can.
This week, the Lions will take a trip to Gahanna to play the Columbus Academy Vikings, who are 3-1 for the season. Reporting from Baltimore, Ohio, I'm Claire Geary for the 740 Zone.
Thank you for the good work, Claire. Now this 180 turnaround was capped off by a big game on Friday night as one of their toughest tests of the season when they took on Columbus Academy. Reporter Joe Collins was out of that game to recap all the action.
It was all smiles and skull chants for the Columbus Academy Vikings after their 41-15 victory over the Liberty Union Lions. Here's how they did it. On the first drive, Brady Hess takes the snap, is flushed out of the pocket, scrambles, and then lobs a deep ball for Sam Hughey, and he's got it in the end zone for the touchdown. To the second, 10-0 Vikings. Hess rolls out right, throws it deep on the run, and he's got Hughey again. Two 43-yard connections for Hess and Hughey in the first half, and the lead is 17-0. The Lions would respond with their own TD pass as Caden Carroll drops back, launches it into double coverage, but 6'6" receiver Jacob Denny uses his height advantage and comes away with the ball for the tutty. The extra point would be no good. However, right before the half, Brady Hess keeps it on the inverted veer, shifts his way to the right, and high steps into the end zone for his third TD of the half. The Vikings dominated the first half and go to the locker room with a 27-6 lead. In the second half, the closest the Lions got to the Vikings was 19 points, as Drake Belisari would ice the game with this 15-yard scamper for a touchdown, as the Vikings would sail away with a 41-15 win.
With the win, the Columbus Academy Vikings move into first place in the Mid-State League. But as Coach Rob Miller points out, they don't plan to share the title with anybody.
We don't want to share the thing. So if we take care of business, it's ours outright. So we know we got a lot more work to do, and it's kind of road's just beginning from here, but we're going to enjoy this one.
The Lions scored 77 points the week before this, but the Vikings defense was Norse all night as they held the Lions to just 15 points, thanks to a stout run defense.
So it starts in practice with them. Our kids committed to watching the film, studying the scouting reports, getting good mental reps on the scripts and everything, and they just play tough physical football and stop the run like we asked.
This was a tough loss for Liberty Union, but with both of these teams in Region 19 for postseason play, there could be a rematch in the near future. Thanks for the good work, Joe. Now we head over to what the fans have called the game of the week. As voted on by you, the Fort Fry Cadets took on the Wellston Golden Rockets in a matchup at C.H. Jones Field. The Gold Rockets came out of the gates firing and punched the Cadets right in the mouth, but reporter Jacob Mata explains how Fort Fry was able to march on after that first quarter.
The Fort Fry Cadets traveled to Wellston to face off against the Golden Rockets, and Wellston got things started quickly when quarterback Jeremiah Frisbee ran the ball 39 yards for a Golden Rocket touchdown on the opening drive, making the score 6-0.
Wellston's offense came out and punched Fort Fry's defense in the mouth early on, but the Cadets responded with big plays throughout the rest of the night.
The Fort Fry defense then settled in and went to work a few drives later when Zayden Huck intercepted Frisbee's pass, and although they didn't capitalize on that drive, the next time Wellston got the ball back, Elijah Johnson intercepted Frisbee's pass again, giving the Cadets great field position. Ian Ellis made sure they capitalized this time with a 16-yard rushing touchdown on a quarterback keep, making the score 7-0 Fort Fry. The defense then forced a 3-and-out, and on the next drive, Owen Brown found the end zone from 12 yards out, making the score 14-6 Cadets. After yet another 3-and-out from Wellston, Ellis threw a shovel pass to Brian Atkins, and he danced his way into the end zone from 14 yards away, making the score 21-6 Cadets. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Jamison Baker picked off Frisbee's pass for yet another interception. Owen Brown then found the end zone for the second time from 5 yards out, making the score 28-6 Fort Fry. Coming out of halftime, Wellston's defense forced a 3-and-out, but Nick Hart took the momentum right back with an acrobatic interception for Fort Fry, Frisbee's fourth and final interception of the night. The teams traded blows for the rest of the game, but the score ended 28-6, and the Fort Fry fans were left cheering when the clock hit zeros. Head coach Eric Huck understood the importance of defense for this win.
Our secondary, we knew it was going to be a big night for them, that they had to step up, and something we worked on all week. And our outside linebackers dropping to those flats. We knew they were going to throw the ball out there, and I thought all of our outside linebackers did a really good job of getting underneath passes, and those big picks really are kind of what gave us the momentum there in the first half and helped us get in good field position and get scores.
Reporting for 740 Zone, I'm Jacob Mata.
Fort Fry will look to remain undefeated when they take on Wheeling Central Catholic next week, while the Wellston Golden Rockets will look to clinch the TVC Ohio when they take on the Benton County Vikings. Thanks for the good work, Jacob. Now we head over to Sheridan, where their quarterback Josh O'Ryan has been battling injuries ever since he stepped foot on the football field into high school, and now he's finally got his chance for the Generals under center this season. Reporter Michael Roth has more on his story.
Sheridan quarterback Josh O'Ryan missed his entire junior season with an injury, but now he's healthy and leading the 4-0 Generals offense in 2020.
It's been a long time, but it went well, so I'm back and playing. That's all that matters.
After watching last year's game from the bench, O'Ryan is even more motivated to make an impact against Tri-Valley.
Sitting on the sidelines was horrible. It was the worst thing, but I learned a lot from that, so I think that's helped me a lot, so I'm ready to play.
Surrounded by a group of multi-year starters, Sheridan quarterback Josh O'Ryan is in good hands for his first career start under center against rival Tri-Valley.
He's not a returning starter. We have several returning starters, but he's not one of them. But he's certainly playing like he's one. He had one game where you could see that he had some confusion moments and things like that. But other than that, he's been a leader. He's done exactly what we've asked of him. If he were a first-year starter and he wasn't immersed in other returning starters, you might be a little bit more concerned. But your teammates make you better.
You can watch O'Ryan and the rest of the Generals when they travel to Dresden to take on the 4-0 Tri-Valley Scotties. For 740 Zone, I'm Michael Roth.
Of course, Josh O'Ryan had a big game to play on Friday night, a battle between two Division III opponents that went head-to-head, and the MVL title was up for grabs, and reporter Alex Porter was out at that game between the Tri-Valley Scotties and the Sheridan Generals. And look, both of these teams sport powerful offenses coming into this one, and we really saw that on full display, didn't we?
Right. It was more so in the second half after Sheridan's first drive of the game that resulted in a Jason Munyon 50-yard touchdown run. From that point forward in the first half, it was all defense between both of these teams. But I do have to say, for the Sheridan General defense, they held Tri-Valley scoreless for the first time since 2009, and they only held them to 131 yards. I always talk about how powerful Tri-Valley's offense is with Blake Sands, Jordan Pantaleo, and Aiden Fritter, and man, they held them to absolutely nothing last night.
Right, and this was a huge game for the Generals. They haven't beaten Tri-Valley since 2016. So what were they feeling after this game, after such a big win like that?
I mean, as you would expect, they haven't beaten them since 2016, so as you would expect, they were pretty adamant. Coach Culver was very proud of his guys. I talked to Jason Munyon after as well, and they had nothing but pride and excitement after this big victory.
It feels incredible. All the sweeter because of how proud I am of the seniors, because of how much I messed up the first half with poor play calling and just indecisions.
Always great to hear from Coach Culver after the game like that, but we've already talked about it a lot. I mean, this is such a big win for the Generals. So who, in your opinion, got the game ball here on Friday night?
Well, from anybody who watched or heard about the game, you would say Jason Munyon would get the game ball. He had a school record 311 rushing yards on the game. That included 4 touchdowns. He basically led the Generals to this win. But after talking to him and Coach Culver after the game, I'd say that they would give the game ball to another group of guys.
Second half was all about, I got 5 seniors up front. They could be the best Sheridan's ever had, and I got an awfully darn good running back. And so that's what this whole second half was going to be about. And they put in the work. Man, they listen to their coaches. Again, my offensive line coaches are the best in the business.
How much of your success do you attribute to your offensive line?
Every single bit of it. Every single bit of it. I wouldn't have done what I did without them. They got on blocks, they sustained blocks, and I did my job, what I had to do behind them.
After all but clinching the MVL title, the Sheridan Generals look to take on Riverview next week as they prepare for postseason play. And as the Tri-Valley Scotties will look to do the same as they have their own postseason aspirations, and they will look to bounce back when they take on John Glenn next week. Thanks for the good work, Alex. Now we move over to a big FAC matchup where 2 3-1 teams duked it out in Miami Trace and also Chillicothe. Reporter Will Price was at that game to see who took over on Friday night and who remained in the FAC title race.
Chillicothe versus Miami Trace. The Cavaliers looking to stay undefeated in FAC play, and Cam Smith would put on a show. The quarterback here, his team up 7-0 in the second quarter. He'd go deep down the sideline and hit Keon Williams for a 32-yard gain. Very next play, Smith, play fake, he's looking to pass, pressure off the edge, and he decides to take it himself. And here he is reversing field, putting a defender in the spin cycle right there. And he's got blockers down the field, and he's taking this one to the house. 56-yard run, and it's 14-0 Chillicothe in the second. But they wouldn't stop there. Now with less than 30 seconds to go in the half, another play fake. Smith buying time. Rush can't get to him. He's keeping his eyes down the field, and he'd find an open man. That's Joel Barnes making a leaping grab. He's making a move. Now it's down the sideline. Foot race to the end zone, and he'd win it. That's a 61-yard touchdown with 10 seconds to go in the half, and it's 21-3 Chillicothe. Second half, and it was more of the same. Here's a handoff to Tylen Scales. Here's a stiff arm. Down the sideline, lowers the shoulder. That would put Chillicothe inside the 10-yard line. Next play, handoff, and he'd power into the end zone. 44-3, Cavaliers win.
Next week, the stakes will be even higher as Chillicothe takes on the Jackson Ironmen here at Herrnstein Field for the FAC title. Head coach Doug Pryor talked about what he wants to see from his team this upcoming week.
Trying to fix those mistakes and improve from week 5 to week 6. It's going to be, it's a football game, it's business as usual, but let's be real, yeah, it is for the FAC championship, so we're really excited about that.
This game was a big win for the Cavaliers as it sets up a conference title game in week 6 when Chillicothe takes on the Jackson Ironmen. Thanks for the good work, Will. Now we head over to one of the most important games in the TVC hockey all year, and reporter Sam Wiesmith was out of that game to catch up on all the action.
Yes, I was out in Gloucester for the Trimble Tomcats versus the Waterford Wildcats. A Trimble win could give them a more comfortable spot to win that Hawking title, and a Waterford win could result in a 3-way tie.
The Waterford Wildcats are getting hyped up for the cat fight against the Trimble Tomcats, who are on the prowl for another TVC Hawking title. In the first quarter, tensions are high. Tabor Lackey's back to pass, and Holden Daly is going to snatch it right out of the air, but both teams were scoreless in the first half. Fast forward to the third quarter. Tabor Lackey says, all right, let's make something happen. He connects with Blake Guffey for the first down. The Tomcats score later in the drive at 6-0. Now the Wildcats are looking to kick it into high gear with a nice pass to Jude Huffman. This Wildcat has defenders on his tail. He's shoving him away left and right, but the ball pops out of his hands for the Tomcats to recover. In the fourth quarter now, Tabor Lackey decides to test his arm, and Guffey is coming in clutch once again for a touchdown. After a 2-point conversion, the Tomcats win this one 14-0.
So this was definitely a big win for the Tomcats, but how did their offense perform in this one?
Though they did come out on top, there were definitely some kinks in the Tomcats offense that they had to work through. Tabor Lackey threw 3 interceptions, which were recovered by Waterford. That being said, Lackey had 1 passing touchdown and threw for 80 yards total.
So obviously the story for both of these teams seemed to be in this game the defensive side of the ball.
I agree. Both teams played a great defensive game. Waterford was able to hold Trimble to only 42 rushing yards. Trimble's defense held Waterford to 26 rushing yards and an overall negative loss of 1 passing yard. In addition to that, the Wildcats could only secure 1 first down throughout the whole game. Here's what head coach Bill Ferris had to say about how his Tomcats performed.
Yeah, we made plays. We've got some good tacklers.
and we try to stop their number one threats. I'd never thought after the team that we lost from last year that these guys would grow up that quick. We've got good kids on the outside. We just got to find different ways to free them up and get them the ball.
The Trimble Tomcats look to end out their regular season undefeated next week when they take on South Gallia. And with the win next week, they will be clinching the TVC Hockey title yet again. Thanks for the good work, Sam. And that'll do it for us here from the 740 Zone. Be sure to catch up on all of our action from this past week on our Twitter and Facebook pages, and be sure to look out for our weekly Game of the Week polls as we have a big slate of games for Week 6 coming up. Be sure to catch us at all of those games once the schedule comes out for that. And I am your 740 Zone host, Jacob Murray, signing off.